From the outset, let me make it abundantly clear that there are many hundreds of people who have walked this course who are far better equipped to tell you about the nuances and undulations of this racecourse, mainly because they've ridden in this great race, which I shall never do. Now, behind me are the starting stalls. They're not in place at the moment, but if you take a look over here, this is exactly where the Investec Derby and the Investec Oaks start, which go back to 1779. It's an incredibly steep ascent to a point where the horses will take a journey from the outside rail to the inside rail. So if you get an idea of just how steep this is over here, there's no racecourse anywhere in South Africa that resembles it, anywhere in the world that I know about, that is absolutely as steep and as testing for a thoroughbred racehorse. So the idea is to get to the top of the hill, get your horse balanced, get him into a position where you get to the top of the course at 184 foot, and then have your horse balanced going down into Tattenham Corner and have plenty of horse left. So we're going to take a walk up the track and show you exactly how your horse should be traveling at that particular part of the race. We're now at one of the most important junctures in the race. We're directly opposite the finish, and we've got about 2,050 meters to run. In other words, 10 furlongs and a quarter of a furlong. And this is where you're hoping to get your horse settled, because you've just jumped out the starting stalls, which are approximately 400 meters behind us. You've still got quite a way to climb to the top of the course, which is 184 foot. And that is exactly where your horse needs to be balanced and breathing properly. Over here, I would imagine that 90% of the horses are still very keyed up after having jumped out the starting stalls. It's a critical part where you actually change from the outside rail to the inside rail and take the shortest way to the top of the course. In the far distance is the start, which you cannot see because of the undulation and the camber of the course, and we now find ourselves at the highest point of the Derby. This is over 1,200 meters, half the distance of the race has been covered, and the most important thing is to get your horse to this point in the race with as little petrol consumed as possible. It was not the case when a horse called Dawn Approach, ridden by Kevin Manning, was pulling his arms out of his sockets, and that was the end of his race. You need to get here with plenty of petrol in the tank, balance your horse, head down towards Tattenham Corner, and that's when the moment of truth, which we shall get to in due course, will take place. We're now at the head of the stretch, approximately 3.5 furlongs to run. And this is the most tricky part of the course, because you've already traveled 182 foot to the top of the hill, you've come around Tattenham Corner, and most racehorses are not trained to run downhill. And this is where the element of balance comes into play, that the jockey has to keep the horse intrinsically balanced. The camber of the course runs down, and this is exactly where your horse has to have a lot of reserve energy, because you travel down to the bottom of the course, and it's those last 50 to 75 meters where you could easily get caught if you haven't got something in reserve. So Tattenham Corner, undoubtedly one of the most tricky corners in the sport of thoroughbred horse racing, particularly flat racing, to negotiate. And this is where your horse has to be beautifully positioned. If you take a look at 2007, where Frankie Dettori had authorized when he won his first Investec Derby, in fact it was known as the Vodafone Derby in those days, this is where he started to poise and get authorized balance in order to set sail for the winning post. Well, we've now traveled 2,400 meters, or in the old parlance, 1.5 miles, and amidst all the feverish preparation that's going on here at Epsom, this little strip of grass over here that's been very carefully mowed by Andrew Cooper and his staff is the line that the thoroughbred is built on. Every single self-respecting owner, trainer, breeder, jockey would like to win this race, the Investec Derby. It is the most arduous course that you've ever seen in your life, but that is the steepness of the climb that they have to ascend, and then they have to come hurtling down Tattenham Corner. It is a course of incredible diversity, incredible energy sapping strength. So this is the rock on which the thoroughbred has been built here at Epsom Downs.